right, welcome in. It's Bettor's Last Stand, show number 55, down here in the Pine Room Studios, along with Coach and Chris. Matt here as we get you ready for another football week. It's amazing. We keep saying it. We say it on the radio show on Football Fridays, on our Tuesday show, on our Monday show. We're in Ohio week 7 in high school football, and West Virginia week 6, and now we're in NFL already. We're in NFL week 4 and college football week 5. So outrageous. The season's going by so fast. Coach was just remarking to me before we started about how it's already going to be Thursday, and Friday we'll be doing the Football Friday show again already, Coach.
Feels like we just cleaned up.
Yes.
And I cannot believe college football is nearing halfway. I swear, it just doesn't seem right. I can't believe Ohio's week 7. They've only got 4 weeks left of their season and playoffs. Wheeling. West Virginia's halfway home. It's just, I don't know. The days are flying now, man. Really
too fast,
flying.
Chris.
Well, and Coach, I was going to ask, and it seems like you have to wait forever for college football.
It does,
and then once it arrives, it's gone.
It's like Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, not to me, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like
the
anticipation, and then it's over in the blink of an eye.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
But we got to enjoy it while it's here.
Yes, we're going to try to get you some winners. Hopefully we have a better week than we did last week. It was not our best week. We had some rough patches. Sam was pretty good in the racing, though. He had both winners in NASCAR and in F1, so he was up almost 4 units on the week. Coach, you knew it was going to come back. You're going to come crashing back to earth. The 8-11-1 in college football, which still isn't really that terrible, which is you'd been red hot. NFL didn't treat any of us very well. We had Champ going 2-5 in the NFL, 0-2 in college football. Jarrett was 4-3 in college football. Jarrett was actually the only one of us that was in positive money other than Sam, and I barely was. But I was 2-0 in my best bets, but it didn't really matter because I was just 8-5 and 5-3 in the NFL. But I don't know. No, it's one of those weeks you're going to have, and we'll continue to try to churn out winners. But if you just had my best bets, you did okay, but yeah, I had no business cashing one. Full transparency, and it's on the bad beats. If you're watching this App State and Wyoming game, I gave out Wyoming minus 2.5. Ended up going off at 3. But if you bet it at 2.5 or 3, it didn't matter. You got a push or a win out of it. Appalachian State was leading the game 19-14 with 2 minutes to go. They had the ball, and they got stopped on a third down. They tried a 47-yard field goal that got blocked in return for a touchdown. And then on top of that, Wyoming gets the 2-point try to push or cover the game. So if you had App State, heartbreaking loss. If you had Wyoming like we did, we'll take it.
Oh, it worked for you guys.
Yeah, it worked. Yeah, that was my
so it ended up 22-19.
College best bet. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it had no business. They got outgained by about 300 yards in the game. They had no business covering, but I'll take it. I was on the wrong side, but it was a winner. And Coach, you know that a lot of times you're on the right side and it's a loser. So I'll take the win when I can get it there. But we'll try to grind it out this week. Pretty decent card in college and in the NFL this week. Some intriguing games. But first, I want to touch on baseball as we're down to the final couple days here. You got the Diamondbacks, a game lead over the Cubs, or actually a 1.5 game lead over the Cubs, 2 over the Marlins, 2.5 over the Reds. D-backs lead 3-0 here this afternoon. They're looking like they're ready to take care of business here and kind of clinch their spot. Chris, thoughts on the other wild card spot in the National League? The Cubs, Marlins, and Reds. Where's your confidence levels with these teams right now?
Well, I'd like Arizona. You know what? I'm taking an interest in Miami. I mean, they got. I think they have a doubleheader today, right?
Yes,
the Mets,
they got rained down with the Mets last night.
And then they go to the Buccos. So this is the Pirates' chance. But I mean, even Cincinnati's still hovering, but they're a game and a half.
Yeah, they came back and won last night.
Big win last night for them.
Yes, I saw that. So I don't know. I don't really have a good feel, Matt. I don't like the. I like the Cubs' chances whatsoever.
No, the Cubs, on the other side of that, the Cubs had a demoralizing loss last night. Huge lead against Atlanta. And
they still play them 2 more times, right? Today and tomorrow,
yes.
then they go at Milwaukee. So.
Yeah, which Milwaukee won't need the game, so that'll help them a little bit. Milwaukee clinching last night, Philly clinching last night. Coach, what are your thoughts on the NL, that last wild card spot? Do you think the D-backs are in?
If they hang on here, they're winning here, right?
Yes, they're up 3-0.
Yeah, they're up 3-0. Yeah, I think they're gonna I think we're going to get in. I don't know. I keep counting the Reds out. That was, as we said, that Cincinnati game win last night was huge for them. They
trailed several times in that game.
They're still hanging on. I bet them actually tonight. Just because I'm betting the teams that need to win, probably a dumb move, but I don't know. This is really going to be a fun last 6 days.
And they finish at St. Louis for 3.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I don't know how they've done against them this year, but that even though St. Louis isn't very good, that'll be tough to go out there and
then jumping over to the American League, Blue Jays with a lead of a game and a half over the Astros, 2 over the Mariners. This West battle, Rangers look like maybe they got the chokehold on the division now. Blue Jays got Garrett Cole. They got to face him tonight. I don't think it's a guarantee that Blue Jays make it. And right now I saw, which was intriguing, and I heard it on a show this morning, Blue Jays 25-1 to miss the playoffs right now. That's very possible, if you ask me. That's a really large number. I know they have a lead here, but it's only a game and a half. And they may lose the night to the Yankees. Astros and Mariners playing each other, and
huge game there.
I mean, just monster games in this West Division. So, any thoughts on these 3 teams?
Well, let's see. Who do the Astros finish this season with?
At Arizona.
Yeah,
they got 3 at Arizona.
So wow, those are huge games.
And then Texas's last 4 games are on the road. Right. At the Angels and 4 in Seattle.
Yeah, so that'll decide.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I think there's some value there to take Seattle to win the division and to get into the playoffs, period. Right now, it may look like this an uphill battle, but they're getting these games at home against the Rangers and the Astros. May have done themselves so much harm. Those teams may just be able to split out with each other in Seattle and both get in. So, yeah, I don't know. Lots of intrigue there in the American League and the National League. You still got 4 clubs very much alive in 3 in the National League. I'm going to basically count the Rangers is probably going to be in. But, yeah, exciting stuff. And I found this tidbit today that I thought was funny, Coach. The A's were favored just 3 times this year. They were 1-2 as a favorite through 150 whatever games that they've played.
No way.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that was probably against Kansas City. They might have been favored against the Pirates one game, I feel like, way back in like May. I feel like they were like minus 115
I think
or
you're
something.
Right.
Very, very slight favorite against
when the Pirates were playing really
and it was
bad.
one of them Pirate guys who had been just been getting lit on fire every time he pitched. It was throwing, and it was interesting. That was actually an interesting series against the A's back then, and the Pirates looked like they were about ready to pack it in, and now they've bounced back and they're playing hard right now. I like them a little bit against the Phillies tonight.
Phillies clinched, right?
The only thing is, I like the Pirates tonight. I bet the Pirates. The Pirates tonight. I think the Phillies. And I just can't believe I just saw a team bunt. Arizona bunted up 3-0 to play for another run. Good for them.
Playoff baseball, I actually like to see.
Yeah, but the Pirates last night had 1st and 2nd in the 10th inning and didn't bunt.
Did you see the White Sox players looked stunned themselves? The pitcher fell down. The catcher was he didn't know what he was doing.
Well,
they needed to play, but
because the bunt just kind of like leaving baseball.
Taboo.
The guys fielding them don't know what to do.
Yeah, right. Well, Bob Walk said last night, well, you don't ask them to bunt all year, so how can you ask them to bunt now? Because they were talking about, look, they just got to bunt
Corbin
again.
Carroll, too.
Wow. But anyway, he said they don't ask these guys to bunt during the year. Why would they ask them to bunt during like important games down a stretch? I mean, really?
Spoken like a guy who hasn't called a playoff game in 20 years.
It's just dumb.
And
just dumb
and you guys remember it is playing his day back in the was it the early 90s when the Pirates were really good, and was it when they had Jay Bell batting second?
Yes.
How many times did he bunt a runner over?
Yes, a lot.
And he was always successful.
He's
doing
really, really good. Sacrifice rate was really good for him.
Well, I want to ask you guys. I got a couple quick stats here, and it's funny. It just plays along with what you just mentioned about the bunt. Okay, I hate analytics. You guys probably do too. But I'm going to ask you guys a couple quick questions. If you had to guess how many qualified hitters are batting over 300 in all of baseball as of today? How many guys?
I'll say 9.
15.
9.
9, really?
9.
I did not know that.
And there are 3 of those guys are right around like 301, 302. So if they have bad weekends, it's over. Okay. Now, total strike. How many strikeouts you think there will be total baseball this whole year? Guys swinging and missing, striking out for the entire league.
Oh boy, that would be. I wouldn't even.
You guys won't even be able to.
Well, I wouldn't even know how to guess
like-
that. I don't
Well,
know.
okay,
I gotta
I'll just say
figure-
this. Right now, over 150 batters have struck out 100 times.
So what's
So that's
that,
15,000.
15,000 strikeouts.
So
I was going
It-
to
it-
guess 60,000, but
that's a little too high. It's on
50?
pace about 42,000.
42.
And you compare that to, like, in 2000, it was 31,000, 1990, 23,000, and 1980, 20,000, roughly. And it's just
Everybody's swinging for the fences.
yeah. So the bunting bunting's not sexy.
I'd love to
so-
know. You don't happen to have the stat on how many successful sacrifice bunts there were this year, do you?
No, I
I'd love
do
to
not
know that number.
I can tell you this: NL pitchers have only thrown 11 complete games, and AL pitchers have pitched 14 complete games. And most of those guys have only done it once.
I was going to
all
ask,
year.
is there one guy that's done it 2 times?
Let's see.
The guys from Milwaukee, or maybe? Or I don't know.
Only four in the AL. Only 4 guys have thrown more than one complete game, and in the NL,
That's incredible.
3. And then,
I'd like to compare that to back in the 70s and 80s.
I mean, there'd be guys throwing 11 on their own. Guys would throw.
I also heard Mitch Keller set the Pirates strikeout record for a right-handed pitcher, but like every guy strikes out now, so it's really kind of a cheapened accomplishment.
All right, and then that last thing, Mark and I, we were talking about Michael Grove and how he's been pitching so well. So I just looked up his stats. So through 67 innings this year, which probably would have been more. Didn't he have a couple of stints on the IL? But anyway, 72 batters he struck out. He's only walked 19. So his strikeouts per 9 innings, 9.6, which last year it was 7.4. That would rank him 17th in all of baseball.
Yeah, that's very good.
And his strikeout to walk ratio is 3.8, which last year was 2.4. That would rank him 19th.
Wow.
So if he can, he's got the stuff.
If he can take off with this role, this is going to be a major thing for his career.
mean,
I'm talking major payday and an entire change of his life. If this role that he's going to be in,
yes,
if he can flourish in it, it's going, and they go far. I mean, it's really going to set up for him.
Well, Mark, what's that go-to pitch? Is that a slider or his curve?
Yeah, I think it's a slider.
I mean, some of those guys just wave at it.
They nobody can hit it.
But
they literally can't hit it.
Yeah, and I only brought that up because I got to see him. He was on TV 2 of the last 4 nights, and he pitched well.
He's hitting like 96, 90. He's sitting 96, 97 miles an hour. So that's good major league velocity.
They're probably going to have to rely on him. Going forward with all their injury.
Here.
Yeah, so good luck to him as he goes forward.
Yeah,
that's good for him.
Those are great stats, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear those. That's
it's pretty interesting.
Those are impressive. Well, he has been impressive at times. Yeah, I mean, a lot more than he hasn't been. That's for sure.
Well, Matt, remember at the beach, we watched him that night. He struck out 7. He gave up 2-run homers to the same fucking guy against the Yankees. That was prime time. But anyway.
I think if he just faces a guy one time, I think he's going to be very good.
I agree.
And I think that role that they're using him in right here is going to be good. He maybe gets 6 outs between 4 and 6.
I remember that day against the Padres. He struck out Tatis, Machado, and somebody else and made him look sick.
Yep.
Yeah, so
all off balance. They were
good
all
to him.
Really
good for him. That's awesome.
That's really good stuff. Speaking of something that's not so good in Major League Baseball, did you guys see this situation with obviously the Padres, that we make fun of constantly on all of our shows? But how about Josh Hader? He wouldn't go in the game the other night.
Oh, I didn't see that.
No, yeah, he wouldn't. They wanted him to warm up. Now they were. If they would have won, they blew a game on Saturday, and then they blew another game on the other night with Blake Snell in the game. So they would only be 3 out right now if they were to have won those 2 games. Hader refused to get up and warm up in the 8th inning. Apparently, Bob Melvin called the bullpen and said, "Get Hader up," and he said, "No, I'm not. I only pitched the 9th." And they asked him after, "Well, you guys are still fighting for a playoff spot," and he said something like, "Are we really?" Because something like it would be almost impossible for us to make it. And then he said something like, "You guys expect me to do everything for the team." It's
really?
Yeah, that's what he said. Okay. Yeah. So what a loser he is. No wonder Milwaukee got rid of him. I really couldn't figure that out at the time.
Right?
Yeah, the real good, the long-haired guy.
Yeah. Okay.
But so the Padres continue to make themselves look like idiots. Oh, and he came and he said after, well, it is a contract year, and he doesn't want to overuse his arm. So,
okay, good.
Well, what a piece of shit. Who's ever going to want to sign a guy like that, a loser like that? that.
Oh, somebody will. Yankees will.
Somebody.
Because whoever
Mets
it
will.
is, they'll fix him.
Yeah, the Mets.
Everybody
It'd be
always
perfect
thinks-
for the Mets.
Yes.
He could set up for the trumpet man when he comes back next
God,
year.
Right.
Perfect.
These athletes are just.
Stupid.
It's
And then how about the
embarrassing.
big trade in the NBA, Chris? Before we get
I just
into
heard
college
that.
Damian
football?
Lillard?
Yeah, Lillard to the Bucks. What do you think?
But then I heard him saying on where they said, "Whoa, I don't know if it was through Twitter or social media that the Greek Freak was kind of giving messages to the Bucks like you better be committed to winning the champion."
Well, here's what I say about that. I think he actually earned the right to do that. He stayed in that city, a small market town. He had a chance to walk, and he stayed, and he didn't demand stars. But he saw what everybody else is doing around him. So, in my opinion, it's not like he's making a power play out of nowhere. I feel like they kind of owe him that.
No, and you know what? Now that you said that, you're right about that. But it's just funny that at least in the NBA, they run the whole show.
I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's like I'll give him credit for staying there instead of going and pulling a LeBron and going joining up with people like all these other guys have done. I don't think Damian Lillard's putting him over the top. He's a good scorer, but he can't defend anybody. He's real small.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean the Bucks will be good, but they got there's a lot of weak teams in the East as far as mentally weak, like the Sixers and some of these other teams, Celtics. Miami Heat, the big losers there. I think they were expecting to get him, but our boy Haywood Highsmith will still probably have a spot now.
Good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into college football. We're not going to waste any time. Let's see here. I got a couple interesting things before we jump into Week 5 here. Teams ranked in the top 5 are just 4-13-2 against the spread this year, so that's an interesting number. Winless teams against the spread, Vanderbilt 0-5, and then a stable of 0-4 teams here. Illinois, Minnesota, NC State, Troy, UTSA, none have covered. And then our beloved Baylor Bears, 0-3-1 ATS, along with Georgia and Michigan.
Yeah, I was going to say Michigan for sure.
Now, out of all those teams, I would say Baylor's been the most disappointing, who hasn't covered. I mean, I don't think you expected a lot out of Illinois.
Well, I would say the most disappointing not to cover is Michigan.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, Michigan not covering.
Because they're big spreads.
Baylor is, they're just bad.
Bad overall.
They're just a bad team, but Michigan's good and haven't covered yet.
Right, and Georgia's kind of right there, too.
Oh, yeah. So if you're putting good money on those teams to cover, which you think they would, I think they're the most disappointing as far as not covering. Where Penn State covered every week.
Right. Liberty, Oklahoma, Oregon, Penn State, UNLV have all covered in all of their games so far.
Yes.
Pretty good.
And then
stuff
the team with the most undefeated teams, ACC.
Yeah, how about that?
Four teams. I can't remember the year, but it's been a long time since a conference has had 4-0 teams at this point in the season, and that's Miami, Florida State,
Duke,
and
North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah. So, well, that's
see how long that lasts.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I'll be interested to see how that plays out because they're going to start banging heads here soon. But going to be a good week. I like some of the matchups. I got a couple plays I really like this week.
All right, we're not going to waste any more time. We have some just real quick. Some of the sharp money showing already on Oregon State. That's a Friday night game, which is going to be a great game against Utah. Which we're going to start off with that here in a second. So Oregon State, Auburn, and LSU are the teams that are taking some of the professional action early on. All right, let's go. Friday night, Louisville at NC State. Right now, Louisville minus 3.5, total 55.5. Coach, you and I have been high on the Cardinals. Any opinions on this game?
I think it's a little too. I lean Louisville in this game just a tick.
Yep, me too. Chris, anything there?
Yeah, I'm going to go with NC State. They got a pretty good stingy defense. Louisville tends to run the ball, so they're at home, and Louisville gave up 427 yards last week to BC, so kind of a leaky defense, so I'm taking the Wolfpack.
All right.
That's a lot of yards to give up against BC.
It is. BC's actually put up some points 2 weeks in a row. They did it to Florida State as well the week before at Chestnut Hill. All right, Utah on the road at Oregon State. Oregon State minus 3, 2.5 in that range. Total 45. As I mentioned, the Beavers taking some professional money. I like the Beavers in this spot, coming back home after a tough loss on the road to Washington State, but a good Washington State team. Chris, where are you heading in this game?
I got the Beavers as well, Matt. I mean, I think Utah's banged up still on offense.
Right.
with the quarterback, a couple running backs, and even their tight end. So Oregon State will be back home in an advantageous crowd. So I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, Corvallis, very difficult place to play. Coach, any thoughts on that one?
I like the game under the total. I think both the defenses are good enough to limit the amount of points. I think it'll be like a 21-17 game.
And that's not a marquee match, but that shapes up to be one of the better games this weekend.
Number 19 against number 10, I believe.
This Pac-12 has been very good this year. I'm very impressed with a lot of the teams.
Two top 20 teams.
Yeah, I like that game. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't get too excited about these games, but I am looking forward to checking that one out. Big 12 matchup here. It's still weird to say. Cincinnati at BYU. BYU minus 2.5 the total. 50 here. I don't have an opinion on this game, Coach. What are you?
Neither do I.
I don't know what to make of either one of these teams.
Yeah, BYU, they just rely on that quarterback. They can't run. But
I'd lean to the under if I had to make a play in this game, but I don't really like anything. Chris, what do you say?
I have the game staying under, Matt.
Okay. I'm with you on that one. I would lean that way.
Cincinnati's not very good.
Yeah, just so. But, yeah, both teams still trying to find their footing in a new league. All right, noon kick on Saturday. This will be, if you want to sleep in, just pop this one on. Penn State on the road, minus 26. Total 45.5 at Northwestern. Nittany Lions will obviously win this game. Just a matter, can they cover, Coach? What do you say?
Well, I don't know. I don't think Northwestern's going to be able to score on Penn State. Penn State's defense is really, really good. I lean to the under, and I lean to Penn State. I think I don't think Northwestern will score. I look like 35-0.
Yes. Well, you saw what Iowa couldn't do.
Yeah, they get. I mean, Iowa
get a first down. They have 4 first downs.
When we get to that, unbelievable stats. But I lean to the under, and I lean to Penn State. But I think Penn State takes care of business.
I agree, Chris.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised Northwestern even has 2 wins, to be honest. But I don't even know who they beat. But
they beat Minnesota last week.
Oh yeah, that was a high scoring.
Fair.
They made a big comeback. Yeah. But no, that they don't have that magic this week. So I'm going to play the game under.
Okay. Moving along, SEC battle. Florida Gators on the road to the Kentucky Wildcats. Wildcats now around 1. This opened 3 down to 1. Total 45.5. I originally thought I liked Kentucky in this game, but I'm a little bit concerned right now. Coach, what do you say?
Well, Kentucky's won the last 2 between them.
Yes. Yes.
I think I like Kentucky at home. Again, I'm not impressed at all with Florida.
No, me either.
I think Kentucky will be ready to go. I'm definitely playing Kentucky minus a 2.5.
Okay, Chris.
No, I'm taking the Gators, getting the 2.5 on the road. I think they'll in a low scoring game. I think they'll win.
All righty. Clemson has to pick up the pieces after a miserable start to the season, already out of the playoff mix, and they got to go to Syracuse, a place that has not treated them well in the past. Clemson minus 7 on the road, total 52.5. This number is way too high to me. I think Syracuse probably will have a chance to win this game.
I agree 100%. That's one of my better plays of the week.
I think Clemson will pack it in quick.
The last two games these teams have played have been decided by 6 and 3 points.
Yep.
And I think that honestly Syracuse has a shot at winning the game.
Totally agree. Get plus 220 on the money line. Chris, any thoughts?
Same thing. I like that quarterback, Garrett Schrader. He's a dual quarterback. He's got 12 all-purpose touchdowns and playing at home in the Carrier Dome. I will go with the orange.
All right. Good stuff. All right, we're going to skip a few of these games on the card down to Texas A&M and Arkansas. The Aggies on the road at the Razorbacks. Aggies minus 6.5. 55 is the total. I have a strong play in this game, but I want to hear what you guys say. My strong play is Arkansas.
Absolutely.
Heavy
I think it's
Arkansas.
a field goal game. This game gets decided by a field goal. Even though A&M's won 10 out of the last 11 between these two, I think this is going to be a really good game, and I think it comes down to the end, and I think 6.5 is too many.
Me too. Chris, what do you say?
I'm going to go against you guys.
Boy, you like Jimbo Fisher.
No, you know I don't. They just seem to they right the ship a little bit. Okay. Arkansas, I think they're using a backup quarterback, although he's pretty good. But I just think they've lost 2 in a row, and I don't know. I think A&M's will cover.
Okay. Chris is on the Aggies. Pig suey for me and Coach. All right, dropping down to the game of the day, or at least in most people's minds. USC on the road at Colorado. USC minus 21.5. The total 73.5. This thing actually opened around 26-27 briefly on Sunday and then got bet down a little bit. I have an interesting take on this. I think actually finds a little bit of value on Colorado here.
Yep.
Just a little. Yeah. I don't trust USC's defense, and I think that's going to be a big problem. I think Colorado put some points up, and I think their back door will be wide open for them to cover in this game.
I agree. USC's 2-3 against the spread as an away favorite against under Lincoln Riley, and I look for I've been fading Colorado all since the season started, but I'm with them this week to keep that a lot closer than people were anticipating. I had a gut feeling they were going to get their ass kicked last week, and I think that was a pretty easy pick. But this week, I think they cover that 21.5. I think if you get the half, I'd say that back to one with you, Matt.
Yep. I think they respond definitely. Chris, what do you think about Coach Prime?
Coach Prime will cover. I'm taking the points. And I saw that after this game, then USC has to face in 4 of their next 6 games after this. Notre Dame, Utah, Washington, and Oregon.
Ooh, right.
And 4 of their last. So I don't know. You guys always mention looking ahead, but I don't think. I think USC's defense is very weak.
It's not good.
So and the talented is that Hunter kid playing?
He's trying to, but I don't think they're going to let him play. I don't think they're going to let him play.
But
you can't. Your liver's pretty sensitive organ. You better be careful with that.
I mean, if I had my way, I'd want USC to beat him 56-0. But I think Colorado will hang in there.
I do too.
I agree. Now this is intriguing to me, Chris. You just went through the USC schedule. They're a pretty considerable favorite to still win the Pac-12. I don't see it happening. They have too many stumbling blocks there. Mm-hmm. I just don't trust them. I still think there's incredibly good value on Washington or even Washington State or Oregon. You got a shot at some of these teams that are very, very good. Even Utah at $6. If you think they can get by this game in Oregon State, they're right in the mix. I think betting USC to win the Pac-12 is a really bad bet. I don't think it makes any sense at all. I may be proven wrong, but they're going to have to win 4 out of 5 games now against teams that are going to be almost dead even with them. So we'll see how they get it started here with Colorado. As hopefully they don't get caught looking ahead too much. But for our sake, we'll take a little bit of that if we are on Colorado. Dropping down to the ACC, it's Virginia on the road at the Boston College Eagles at Chestnut Hill. Boston College -3, the total 54.5. Any thoughts on this game, guys?
I'd tell you the first thing about the ACC, we were wrong. There's 6 teams that are undefeated in the ACC, including Syracuse and Louisville.
They're in Louisville, yeah.
I forgot
there
were 6 teams undefeated at this point in the ACC. So
stunning.
That is absolutely an incredible statistic. But we're looking at 1-3 against 0-4 here. So this is 2 of the weaker teams in the ACC.
Hey, but big edge to BC. It's alumni weekend.
Oh, okay.
And they've played pretty good the last 2 games.
Yeah. I mean, Virginia's beat up, and they just don't have talent.
I think this looks like too easy. BC, and I really like the under in this game too. I don't think Virginia will score more than 10.
No, so, I like BC.
Yeah, I like BC too.
Yep. Same.
I mean, BC gave Florida State all they wanted.
Took them right to the wire. Absolutely. Probably outplayed them in the game. Another Pac-12 contest. Arizona State on the road at the Cal. Golden Bears. Golden Bears -11.5. Total 49.5. For as good as the Pac-12 has been, this game doesn't intrigue me too much.
No.
Any opinions here?
No, you got the two of the bottom 3 teams at 2-2 and 1-3. I don't have any.
I thought maybe over, but I don't love anything.
There's just statistically how bad ASU is. They've only beaten Southern Utah. They're 126.
They covered last week, though.
Yes.
Against SC.
126th in scoring offense and 105th in defense. They stink. I say the game will go under.
Okay. You like under.
I just don't see them being able to score.
Yeah, bad game there. How about another bad game? Illinois at Purdue. Purdue -1.
This is the napkin. This is the afternoon
53.5. Chris, you're a Illini. Where do you stand with them right now? You were kind of high on them earlier in the season. Brett Bielema was fucked everything
how
up
wrong
for you.
I was, and I don't have a whole lot of stats with this game.
You don't need them.
But I did see Illinois 0-4 against the spread, and only one of their games has gone over this year. So
and it was a game I had under. I think it was a game against Kansas.
Mm-hmm. So I'm taking the Boilermakers in this game.
Chris or Coach?
Well, thank goodness it's on Peacock, so we won't.
God is right.
We won't watch that one probably. Honestly, I don't have a feel on that game.
Yeah.
I don't.
Dreadful.
I'll wait to hear from Nick and give me a
Yeah, I'm
big
sure
play
he'll
on
have a
that
big play in there. All right, staying into the mighty Big Ten, the Indiana Hoosiers on the road at the Maryland Terrapins. Terps minus 14, 50.5 here. I like Maryland. I think they win this game easily.
I agree.
Yes, and they and interestingly, if they win, they'd be 5-0 and setting up a big matchup next week with Ohio State.
I think that's a really good play.
Yeah. I like
And
Maryland.
I think Maryland. Did you say Maryland's covered all 4 games this year? Are they 4?
No, I think they're. No, I don't think they were. Were they? No. Liberty, Oklahoma, Oregon, Penn State, UNLV. No, I think Maryland was 3-1
Okay.
ATS. I believe. I
Okay.
think there was one game that somebody backdoored them. I believe. All right, moving along to the Big 12 now. Baylor and UCF. UCF trying to get back on the winning track after a disappointing performance last week. Baylor has been abysmal.
Yes.
Maybe the worst team in college football as far as their expectations go. UCF minus 11.5 to total 55. And that pains me to say, but man, I got to lean UCF.
Yeah, I
here.
do too. And Baylor couldn't win at home in big games. Their opener, they just got trounced. And then Texas,
State.
you'd think they'd be ready for them.
Nothing.
I mean, Baylor, they're
gave
really
nothing.
bad offensively.
Quarterback
really
play
bad.
is
Yes.
atrocious.
I mean, that probably is a good underplay, and I like UCF too. I hate to say it, but
Yeah. Chris, any opinion?
I got UCF circled, given the points.
Yeah.
Take
all
them.
right, we're all on the Knights there. Real quick, any thoughts on Marshall Old Dominion? Marshall with a nice win over Virginia Tech, minus
yeah,
13
that was
and a
a
half
good
at home.
win. I had them last week. I like them. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question.
Please.
Are we going to go back to the local college? Or do you skip West Lib on purpose? I just wanted to.
Oh well, please. Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, I don't have it.
No, we'll
I
go
just,
back. Yeah. No.
Or we'll do it at the end.
No, we'll do it right now.
Well, no, I was just curious because
We'll stay in state. Nobody had an opinion on Marshall. Now we'll come back to the mighty Hilltoppers.
Just because we've spoken about them at length about.
You got some stats on them?
No, I really don't. But is there any fucking football program in the entire country, any division, any level, community colleges, anybody that need a whole a fucking enema just to clean out the whole fucking?
No.
I mean,
not many. Because most of the time these
when
guys
is the
already
last time
get
they had a
chopped.
fucking signature win, like a meaningful win? And it's the same fucking thing every week. And I see that they're at Concord this week.
Yeah, and they're an underdog to be on. I could not make them a road favorite in this game. I couldn't. You just couldn't do it. The numbers said they were probably a little better on a neutral field, but I told you guys on the radio yesterday, they have not won at Concord since 2010.
Mm-hmm. And we were there, yeah.
And the thing is, you'd say, well, these should be wins for West Liberty. Concord's probably not as bad as West Liberty. West Liberty's terrible.
They are. And Concord gave Wheeling a decent battle last week. I mean, they hung around.
Concord might not be a bad play right there.
Yeah.
Only giving 1.5.
And when is the last time that we could sit here or sit at the Pine Room and say, well, I give the edge to West Lib because of coaching?
Because of special teams and fundamentals. I watched a little bit of that game against Pembroke. 3 or 4 times they were second and 25, first and 25.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's every they don't disappoint as far as comedic.
Oh, comedy.
No.
Oh, yeah,
Very predictable.
very
There's
predictable.
going to be a kick missed or a punt blocked or something's going to go wrong.
Pick six.
Pick six.
At least
Key fumbles.
At least 3 or 4 sacks. It's bad. It's really bad. Chris, you said it right. It just needs an enema.
Everybody in there.
There's a
Every
couple
coach.
sports up there that need a total enema. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're getting rid of sports like tennis and I'm not saying get rid of football and baseball, but it needs. It needs something done.
Yep.
It's just it's a bad situation.
As a leader, though, how not even the coach of the team, but as the leaders of the university, the AD and the president. When is enough enough? When do you say this? We've got to do something here.
Yeah,
I mean, in Division I, obviously they're pretty quick triggered, but I mean,
yeah. And when's the last time West Lib played a clean game? You know, they executed well on special teams, and it didn't have stupid penalties all the time. I mean,
it's just that may have been.
It's always fall behind and then Garcia pads his stats because they got to throw because they're down 17 or 24.
Yes,
every single freaking game. And it's just the same shit. And I'm tired of hearing about the Gary West stuff. God rest his soul. He did it from unbelievable for West Liberty. But I'm tired of hearing that's why he's Coach Walleye's there. It's over. It's done. That program is never going to change under that leadership. We know it. We've been watching it. We've seen it. It's awesome.
And sadly, the 3 years when they had Zach Amidro, they underachieved those years.
Well, they did, but it's the same regime. We just had players that covered up the mistakes.
Yeah,
we had good enough players then. We don't now. We haven't since. It's a problem, and it really is a bad thing for the university. You remember, Coach, the buzz around that program when we had that playoff games.
Edinburgh.
Maybe the biggest event that ever happened at that school. And I'll
never forget it.
We'll never have that back ever. Unless there's a major change.
Unless something changes and they get someone in there that A, can recruit, and B, has rules on the team. Go on.
And when do you look in the mirror and say, I got to get out of this? I got to get out of this. I'm not in it anymore.
Don't you finally say, listen, we're just not. This isn't working.
Yeah, and I seriously doubt his heart is really he's so passionate about this job still. Get your brains.
It's just human nature. Nobody's expecting him to be. Just get out now.
But just hang in there, get paid. And
listen, if they don't beat Concord, they'll probably lose to Glenville because Glenville's Glenville's
good.
Glenville's much improved.
Yeah, they won't lose. They won't.
So maybe
beat
Wesleyan.
Glenville.
So 1-10. So is the new regime, the new president, going to say, "Oh, okay, well, let's give it a couple more years"? Well, homecoming was down. All those guys said about half.
You never hear the buzz around town.
That's really bad. Because
the buzz is still there about basketball. It's not football.
Oh, no.
Hadn't been for years.
And the alumni support has to be way down because there's just nobody interested.
No.
And who wants to give to a program?
Why would you give up a Saturday to come travel to go watch that crap?
I wouldn't. And
you live 10 minutes away.
I loved going up there. I absolutely loved homecoming. I thought it was a blast, but I can't go up there and feel good about myself doing it. But anyway.
All right. Thanks for going to that game.
Good.
I feel
Chris,
better.
And that was wonderful. Better. Get that off your chest. All right. Kansas Jayhawks at the Texas Longhorns. The Horns, -17, total 64. The big battle with Oklahoma next week, Coach. Do you think Texas looks ahead a little bit in your Jayhawks?
I think Kansas is good enough to cover that 17.
I agree.
I do. I think this isn't the Kansas of old, obviously. We all know that.
They've given Texas some trouble the last few years.
And Lance Leipold has really done an remarkable job.
Yes,
and I think they're not a surprise anymore. They're legitimately a middle of the pack or Big 12 team right now. I do.
High middle.
And
probably,
I think they can. I think they'll play with. I don't know if they can beat them, but I think that they'll give them. Last year they got their ass kicked 55-14 by Texas. I don't see it happening this year. I don't.
Chris?
I like Kansas.
The last time they played in Austin, they won 57-56 in overtime.
Yes.
I think I was that new coach.
Well, that's when
that was like put Kansas on the map.
Well, that's when Kansas was shitty and they were just coming out. Mm-hmm. That was an unbelievable win for them.
So they obviously the culture down there, like you said, Mark, it's a totally different feel down there. So they're thrilled. I expect a high scoring game. I think it'll be close, but I don't see Kansas beating them. But I would take. Kansas getting the points.
I mean, I look 34-27 kind of game, 37-31.
I think they keep it close as well.
I agree.
Moving on, Houston at Texas Tech. Texas Tech coming off a tough loss at West Virginia. This game opened 10, down to 8.5 now, total 52. The status of the Texas Tech quarterback looks grim. I think he's out of commission for a while. They definitely ran into some bad luck there losing him. I think they probably would have won the game in Morgantown. Any thoughts on the game, Chris? You love Dana Holgerson. I don't like him on the road though.
Right? No. I look for Mr. Basinger's Red Raiders to bounce back and cover that.
Okay. You say that every single time we talk about that.
Well,
he's the only fan we
Tommy
know.
Basinger Sunday was talking about it, and he said, "Yeah, my dad."
Because you don't know one other Texas Tech fan, right?
Can't say I do.
Yeah, do you guys?
No, good God, no.
Coach, what are your thoughts?
Oh man, Houston's really bad. Houston's bad. Texas Tech. It's not a very good game, so I don't have a play.
I don't really either. I lean to the under in the game. Michigan, we talked about them earlier in the program. Haven't covered the spread yet. They're at Nebraska, -18. The total 40.5. I actually kind of like Nebraska in this game. I can't believe it. Or does Michigan finally snap out this week, Coach, and bury somebody?
I tell you what I like in this game a lot. I love this game under the total.
Okay.
I mean, Nebraska leads all football in rushing defense, only giving up 46 yards a game. Michigan's only allowed 2 touchdowns all year. I don't think Nebraska will score much, but neither do I think Michigan will.
Right.
So I really like this game under the total.
Okay.
One of my better plays of the day.
Strong play on the under. Chris, any thoughts?
This is the week Michigan covers.
Okay.
I'm going to take them.
They bury the Huskers, huh?
Yes.
All right. Georgia, another team that hasn't covered, on the road at Auburn, minus 14. It's opened 16.5, now down to 14. Total 47. Sharp money coming in on Auburn. Coach, we had Auburn last week. I can't back this team, but I don't really love Georgia either in the spot.
I don't know why the sharp money on Auburn.
Just
They
7,
looked
16.
awful.
They were terrible.
They looked awful.
Against the not very great Texas A&M team either.
Georgia's 6-0 against the spread against Auburn.
Oof.
That's a statistic.
Oh, boy.
But both of these teams are Georgia's 0-4, Auburn's 0-3 against the spread. So something's going to give, and I like Georgia. I like Georgia by 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
I really
Chris?
like that play.
I like that game to go over, Matt.
Okay, some points expected from
Yeah.
Chris. Okay, let's drop down a little bit. Stay in the the SEC. I almost said the Big 12. Missouri on the road at Vanderbilt. Missouri minus 13.5, 56.5 the total. Any thoughts on this game? I don't have anything.
I like the game over the total.
Okay.
Vanderbilt's giving up 33 points a game. I think Missouri will score a bunch, but Missouri's defense is not good either. I think it's a good play over, folks. I do. I'd play it over the total.
Chris, anything?
I'm going to take Missouri given the points. They're going to score a lot.
All right, and add to that total that Coach likes to
Yes.
go over.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep it in the SEC. Drop down. LSU on the road at Ole Miss. This is an interesting game. LSU minus 3 on the road. Total opened at 63. Huge steam on the over in this game. Now up to 67.5
Wow.
through 65.5. So it's raised up 4 points. People are betting LSU as well. Coach, Ole Miss didn't come to play last week against Alabama. They're back home here in Oxford. What do you think?
I
here?
like Ole Miss in this game.
Okay.
I like Ole Miss catching the points.
Chris?
I like LSU on the road. I think that's going to be a really good game.
I do. That's 6 o'clock game.
Yeah, it's 6 o'clock, and it two good teams. So, but I think LSU is going to win.
Brian Kelly versus Lane Kiffin.
I don't want him
What
to.
a showdown.
I don't want him
What's
to.
your feel, Matt, on that game?
Two dickheads.
I was leaning towards LSU, but I don't know how good they are. I kind of actually think Ole Miss it's the better spot for them, but I don't know. I really don't have a strong opinion of any kind. Pac-12 game now. Oregon on the road at Stanford, coming off a big time win over Colorado, minus 27 on the road, a total 61. I don't know. Oregon kind of named their score if they want to, but do they care about this game at all? That's the question.
I don't know. Stanford's averaging 15 points a game. They've lost 3 straight. How could you bet Stanford here?
Yeah,
How
I
could you
mean,
possibly
you
bet
can't.
Stanford?
You can't.
I mean, Oregon could score 70 here.
Yeah, I think Oregon will just cover by accident.
I'm playing Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to the Big 12 and talk about Iowa State on the road at Oklahoma. Oklahoma minus 20. The total 48.5. I have a very strong play in this game, too. I love the under in this game. And I actually am becoming a believer in that Oklahoma actually could be pretty good. What do you guys think?
Well, Iowa State went on the road and lost to OU, didn't they? A couple weeks ago.
Yes,
So
they're a joke. This is another program needs an enema.
Yeah, so
that Matt Campbell can't coach.
I think Oklahoma will roll in this game.
I agree with that, and I think it's going to be an under. Coach,
Well,
what do you say?
Here's an interesting stat. Iowa State is 2-6 in the last 8 against Oklahoma, but they've not lost by more than 20 in all 8 of those games. So
They beat them in Norman one year, too.
They
Jesus.
did. They did.
So in 8, what did you say? That was 8 games they haven't lost.
They
by,
have not lost by more
20.
than 20 points.
Yep.
And that's the spread, right?
And so,
Yeah.
they've not lost by. So I'm playing Iowa State to cover.
Okay. I think Venables will have the defense ready, and that'll make it tougher. But, no, I agree. Iowa State has played them very tough in the past. All right, let's drop down to the probably still depressed even at this point of the week. Notre Dame on the road at Duke. Tough spot here for the Irish, minus 5.5 on the road, total 52. This is a tough spot, Chris. I mean, they're coming off a demoralizing defeat, 10 men on the field. Just everything went against them. They lose to Ohio State. And now they got a really tough stretch of games coming up. How do you get your team up for this game? And Duke is coming in undefeated in the biggest game ever. The game day's there. A huge game for Duke.
Mm-hmm.
I like points in this game. I do like that, but I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to overcome, that last second loss, and then add to it the embarrassment and with 10 guys on the field. I mean,
yeah.
So I have Notre Dame circled here -5.5, but I'm not really sold on that. So
right.
It's going to be an interesting game to watch, and I hope Duke wins. So I don't know. I just see how Marcus Freeman can get him ready for this game.
It's a big game for Marcus Freeman.
Yes,
huge. I really believe that. If he would have beat Ohio State and he happened to slip up against Duke, people would probably overlook that. But now, this could be their second loss. Probably knock them out of the bowl championship.
Right.
Yes. This is a massive game. Duke's 6-1 against the spread as a dog again under the head coach Mike Elko. But I think Notre Dame covers here. I think Notre Dame will come and play, and I just think they'll have better athletes, and I look for like 10-point game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It's a big game because now you got
Huge
people.
Game.
Not only did you lose to Ohio State, but like Chris said, the 10-man thing now gets people thinking you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you
right.
better respond.
And 2 plays in a row.
Yeah,
and Notre Dame still has a tough schedule.
Yes.
They've got 3 or 4 more definite losable games on their schedule. So
yep, huge
this
one.
is huge game.
Huge one for the Irish. All right, Michigan State on the road in Iowa. Another nap time game. Actually, this might be
How
early
can
to
Iowa
bed.
be given 11.5 to anybody?
Yeah, well, Michigan State finally parts way with the coach. Total
Yeah,
36.5. Mel is gone. Do you see any inspired effort out of the Spartans here, Coach, or does Iowa bury them like 19-3?
I think this game stays under the total.
I do too. I love the under. I'm
That's
all
amazing.
over the under.
I had that circled too, the under. And
This game stays under.
I don't think Michigan State will score more than 3.
This is a 17-10 game.
Yes.
It's a 17-10. At halftime, this will be 6-3.
Yes.
This will be 7-3. This will be played between the 30s all night long. The punters better stay loose. I like this game under. I don't care if they dropped it all the way to 36.5. Jesus, how much lower can they make it?
I mean, I'd bet it under probably 33, 32.
I mean, I don't see 30 points scored.
No, I don't either. I think it has 16-3, 19-3, and something like that.
I mean, I know they
all
were
over
facing
it.
an incredible defense, but pull up Iowa's stats from Penn State. It's unbelievable.
They got shut out, right?
They ran 33 plays.
4 first downs.
They had 76 yards.
I think they had 2 plays in Penn State territory or something.
76 yards the whole day on 33 plays.
That's like something we read about one of those lopsided high school games on a Friday
incredible.
night. Like it's impossible actually. There's another team needs an enema. Both teams in Iowa and then up on the hill here in Wheeling.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Michigan. Oh no, we already did that one. I don't want to do that game again. South Carolina on the road at Tennessee. Tennessee minus 12.5. Total 63. Tennessee got a little swag back last week. They pummeled UTSA, but I think our Johnson's Roadrunners are absolutely horrible. I like South Carolina here. I think they're sneaky.
If they can run the ball against Tennessee and give Spencer Rattler a little time and let him move around a little bit, I think they could. I think they could make this game really close.
I agree. I think they could possibly win.
Yeah, I like it,
Chris.
I'm going to take Tennessee and over, and the really only rational reason that I'm taking Tennessee is because Jared has a new Tennessee ball cap, and it looks really nice.
Well, I mean that kind of analysis you can't get many places.
No, you
Right,
can,
right,
and it's free.
There you go.
Something like Champ would say there. All right, well, Mountaineers looking to continue the winning streak on the road at TCU. They're catching around 12 now as this number continues to go up. The totals opened at 50, went to 51, now 52. Coach's numbers moving against the Mountaineers here. That could be a bad sign. What do you think?
I just can't get a feel for this game. I thought, we watched TCU against Colorado. They were terrible. The Mountaineers have not shown they're very good. They've won two straight
ugly games.
I just don't know. I
thought maybe over.
That's probably where I'll play and just hope they go up and down the field because I'd be leery to play the Mountaineers here. Yeah. I really would.
Chris?
Well, I like TCU, Matt. They're way better offensively, and they're pretty damn good against the run, and that's, to me, that's the only way West Virginia can win is if they establish the run because they can't throw. And big blackout night at 8 o'clock start. So I think TCU and hopefully W will stay close because our good friend Carol McCormick and her sisters will all be down there in Dallas. So
well, let's
maybe
hope for their
they can
sake.
see. Yeah, right.
Well, best of luck.
But I don't think they're expecting.
Hope it turns
anything
out
great,
better
but-
than JFK's visit down there. Huh? All right, let's go. Pitt on the road at Virginia Tech. The Panthers -2.5. The total 41.5. These are two really bad teams here. I somehow am leaning towards Pitt in this game, if you can believe it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know, Chris. What do you?
Well, it's and another important thing here. It's Military Appreciation Night. They're having a whiteout. The series is tied at 11 apiece, and I am taking Virginia Tech because there's nothing about Pitt that I like. Not one
What
thing.
do you like about Virginia Tech?
Military
Military
they're playing at
Appreciation
home.
Night?
Yeah, that's it.
Lane Stadium. What
yes,
a dump. Coach, what do you?
I'll play this game under the total.
That's probably a pretty good bet.
Can't
it's
see many points.
Two really bad teams there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's finish up getting down to the end here. Alabama on the road at Mississippi State -14.5. Total 46.5. I feel like Alabama might win this game by
Absolutely.
50. I
really like
I think,
Alabama.
I think Mississippi
They get
State is
right.
the worst team in the SEC, and I think Bama rolls it up on them here.
And
Roll
Ditto,
Tide.
Ditto.
Here's Alabama's won 16 straight in this matchup, and the last 5 have been by 32 points or more.
Yeah, this is going to be another
This
one.
could be bad.
Yep, Alabama's looking for some offensive momentum here.
They've won how many in a row?
16 straight in this matchup.
Probably since they had Mississippi State had Sylvester Croom.
Yeah, Stark Vegas.
I
What a
like
place.
Bama. Yeah.
Bama rolls. All right, Washington, a team I'm really high on right now. Coach is too. Washington Huskies on the road at the Arizona Wildcats, laying 18. The total down to 67 from the opener of 70. Washington can just cruise in this game if they want to. That 18 looked a little low to me, but
I agree.
I don't know. But they even care. Or they just play around. But tell you what, Washington's defense is good enough. They make a lot of plays, so they could score again on defense like
Yeah.
they did last week. I'd lean Huskies here, even though it's a big number on the road.
I'm playing the Huskies.
Yeah, I do.
I'll be
And-
asleep, but
Yeah, and I enjoy watching Ed Penix. He's a hell of a
He's good,
quarterback. So they and no one's really talking about the Huskies, but they're damn good.
Yep.
So I'll take them.
All right. Any opinion on Fresno and Nevada Wolfpack? A late night game. Fresno's good, but
I'll take the over.
over. Okay, Coach. Anything there?
Fresno won 41-14 last year. Nevada's 0-4. I'm probably play Fresno here.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, that does it for the college card. Let me get you guys. Give me your top college play at any of those games that we went through.
Oh boy, I have a couple.
Well, give me your best bets. I don't want because Jubb has been posting them. I was somehow 2-0 last week in these things. So
Mine's Boston College.
okay. So Chris's best bet, BC at home, and Coach, what do you got?
In Syracuse. I mean, if you just want one,
No,
take
just give
that
me one. If
Okay.
you got one,
That's it. That's
unless
it.
you have two,
Nope.
I mean
No.
that's good. Okay,
I like that one.
Coach.
Boy, I'm gonna have to choose because I like.
Well, if you got two that are really
Well,
close,
no,
go
I
ahead.
like Alabama, I like Georgia. I'm gonna go. Here's my gonna be, and I think I'm gonna steal this from you. Well, oh boy, I'm gonna play Arkansas as
Okay,
my.
that was mine too. Yep.
I figured you were going at. I
Yeah.
should probably go.
No,
with
that's okay.
Because there's some others I like too, but
Yeah, there's one other one I like.
let's go with those.
My best bet since we'll share Arkansas. Coach will be on Arkansas. My best bet is going to be the Oklahoma-Iowa State game under 48.5.
All right.
That's mine. So, all right. That concludes the rundown of college football week number 5. Hard to believe. We are going to take a break here on BLS and come back and dive into that NFL card and maybe briefly mention the Ryder Cup, which also begins on Friday. It's Bettor's Last Stand from the Pine Room Studios. We'll be right back.
Bettor's Last Stand is for entertainment purposes only, but who better to listen to than the guys here at the Pine Room? For more picks you might have missed, follow Bettor's Last Stand and all of Matt's picks on X, formerly Twitter, at BLS_PRP. Because just like General Custer, we're in Bettor's Last Stand.
All right, welcome back in. Bettor's Last Stand here. Matt, Coach Chris, getting you through college football week 5. Now we're going to talk some NFL week number 4. But briefly, I want to get Coach's thoughts on the Ryder Cup as we start that off on Friday. It'll actually be playing. By the time you listen to this, it will have been started already, but we can still give you a couple of people that maybe we like. USA won the last one, 19-9, here in the States in 2021, but they have not won in Europe since 1993.
Amazing.
USA a slight favorite here. I'm hearing a lot of people picking them, saying that this is.
I don't like them.
I don't like them at all. I actually think Europe might win this big. I hope not.
My predictions 15 and a half to 15 and a half. Wait, 15 and a half, I see, is 28 points, right?
Yeah, so 15 and a half would be to 12 and a half.
15 and a half to 12 and a half.
And I actually had mine circled as 16 and a half to 11 and a half, so we're pretty close.
15 and a half, 12 and a half Europe. I just don't think – I think Europe's too strong. I just think they're too strong.
They got a lot of depth that they never had before. Really, really talented guys here.
Some good rookies, too.
Yes, really good rookies. And some of the guys on the United States team worry me. You got guys coming in not so great a form who are really good players but just aren't on top of their games.
Right.
So I think it's a serious worry. For the United States, I think they're going to be up against it here, and I think people should look towards Europe. I love Tommy Fleetwood and his matchups. I think he's going to be really strong. Justin Rose, too, and then I like Sepp Straka as the top rookie for the Euros. USA-wise, I think Xander Schauffele and Colin Morikawa play pretty well. They're very good in this format. And then Brian Harman, I like him for the top rookie. I just don't know what I'm going to get out of guys like Justin Thomas is normally a great Ryder Cup player. He's had a terrible season.
Yes.
I can't trust him. I don't Wyndham Clark hasn't done enough yet. Sam Burns worries me. Even Koepka, you never know what you're going to get out of him if he's even going to care. Oh boy,
yeah,
Mets
big crowd there today.
Great, good to start for the under. Fucking Marlins, Jesus. Anyway, enjoy the Ryder Cup. It'll be on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hopefully the United States can hang in there, but I'm not very optimistic about it. I think this Euro team is very, very good. So we shall see.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's go on to pro football. Champ, where the money's made. This is where Champ makes his money, although he had a bad week last week. Well, it definitely wasn't his best showing. Early public sides, 94% of the bets on Kansas City this week. That might be Travis Kelce. 85% on Minnesota, 83% on Cincinnati, and 80% on Seattle. Week 3 public sides, the public went 7-1 with Dallas the lone loser. So a lot of the public money got there. There were some upsets, but some of the big favorites did make it. Arizona, Green Bay, Miami, all 3-0 against the spread so far this year. With Arizona with an outright win over Dallas.
Unbelievable.
Last week. Yeah. The Rams, Eagles are both 2-0-1 at ATS, and then the winless teams against the spread. The Bears, the Broncos, the Giants, the Panthers, the Vikings, the Saints, and the Bengals. Oh God! And it's a couple of these things here that I had to mention. The Travis Swift phenomenon, Chris.
Yeah.
Did you see some of these numbers? 400% spike in jersey sales.
Yeah.
Kelsey Podcast now moves to number 1, passes Joe Rogan, which hasn't happened in years. This is all the Taylor Swift effect. 338,000 new Instagram followers. 24.3 million people watched the game. The number 1 ranked NFL game in the last 5 years. 63% jump in female viewership. 18 to 49 demographic. You think that game was on Fox, wasn't it, last week? Yeah, because Aaron Andrews did.
Yeah.
Do you think Fox is doing backflips as she came to that game? I mean, my God.
Oh my God.
And then three times the increase of searches on the Kansas City Chiefs on the Google searches and StubHub. And then Kansas City sold more tickets in one day than any other day in the entire calendar year after she was there.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Somebody would have to explain it to me because I don't get it. She's more popular than
Elvis.
Anything. Elvis, the Beatles. It's almost combined. Chris.
Why? What is it? What is it?
I don't know. Somehow she just taps into the young girl demographic, and a lot of people respect her talents and writing abilities that they don't dislike her.
I absolutely don't get it.
It's quite incredible that it's gone like this, and it's only going to continue to escalate. Now, just think about these games when she's in the house, what it's going to be like. They're going to show her constantly.
And it's annoying.
Yeah. Well, she's probably going to end up being a distraction.
It's annoying.
What gives you that idea, Chris?
Right.
Yeah.
What would give you that idea? I mean, Mahomes he's getting interviewed after the game. They're asking him about her.
It's incredible.
I mean, they handle it well. I mean, I'm sure that Kelsey's getting a lot of ball busting in the locker room, which has got to be pretty funny. But anyway, Yeah, so that's the biggest story in the NFL. We're going to try to find you some winners, though, in the meantime, before these guys head to Bocce here in about 10, 15 minutes. All right, let's go. Don't waste any time. The Thursday night game will be done by now, but any thoughts on Packers and Lions?
I like the Packers.
Yeah,
I do. After that big comeback against the Saints last Sunday, playing at home, prime time, and Jordan Love seems to be playing pretty well. So
I like under in the game. I think it's a Thursday night games tend to play under, and I think a good division battle. So I'll be leaning under. Coach,
I'm playing the Lions.
Okay, Lions, Packers, and an under on that one. All right, we go to London, the first London game of the year. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars adopted home. They host the Atlanta Falcons in Wembley Stadium, London, UK, 9:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. Jacksonville -3, total 43.5. This number's too low. Jacksonville is going to rebound and absolutely crush the Falcons. That's going to be my NFL best bet. I can just give it to you right out of the gate. I think they're going to massacre Atlanta here. Big home field advantage here and for the Jags. Any thoughts on this game, guys?
I like the you just kind of bummed
me out.
Pissed
all over the Falcons?
No, not the Falcons. They're so offensively challenged. The Falcons are. I think the game's going to go under. I think it's like
possible.
33-3 or something.
Man, that could happen for sure.
But
we can both still win. Coach, any thoughts?
I'm going with you with a strong feeling like that. I'm not going against you.
He sold it. He sold out.
Whoa.
Showmanship. Right. All right, let's move along. Miami at the Bills. This is a really good game. 1 o'clock.
Yes.
I almost wish this was a Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Bills -2.5, total 53.5. Dolphins scored 70 last week. Unthinkable number. We kept asking anybody in the bar if they ever remembered anybody scoring 70 in their lifetime in an NFL game. No one said yes, not even Champ. I like the over here. I think there'll be points, but Coach, the Bills have played better the last few weeks.
Yeah, maybe they're catching their stride. That might be a good spot for them. I'm going to play the Bills.
I'd lean Bills, too.
I'm going with the Bills as well.
Okay. Moving along, it is the Minnesota Vikings winless at the winless Carolina Panthers. Vikings -3.5 on the road. So how's that possible? There's a couple of teams that are in road spots here that it's almost baffling. The next two games, actually, we're going to talk about is mind blowing. These teams could be favored. So Minnesota 3.5 on the road, total 45.5. I sure couldn't play Minnesota, but I don't really want to have to play Carolina either. I'd lean them +3.5, but I don't know. Coach,
a tough one. This is really a tough game. I honestly, I don't know. I don't. Maybe I'd play the under.
Yeah, that's what I got.
That might be the way.
I don't give a shit if Bryce Young's coming back or not.
No, they probably better without him.
Right.
I mean, they played all right offensively. They got
Andy Dalton?
They played okay offensively last week. They just couldn't stop Seattle.
No, Minnesota's. They might be able to score some points because Minnesota's defense stinks.
Well, didn't they have the wonderful Brian Flores, the great one? Yeah, he's done a great job. So. Now they lose, their team's coming apart in Minnesota. It's going to be fighting in the locker room. It'll be ugly. Denver at Chicago in the next game.
Oh boy,
two more winless teams. Sean Payton and the John Elway's on biggest overrated guy ever maybe. Denver -3 on the road, total 46 at the Bears. What do you do here? Who do you trust in this game?
I think the game will go over. I mean, maybe Justin Fields can just go crazy in this game running anyway. The Broncos gave up 350 yards rushing last week. And I mean, I don't know how the hell they're going to just suddenly shore that all up. So I would lean toward the Bears to win the game, but I'd say definitely over.
Coach, I would lean the Bears here.
I would too.
I would definitely lean the Bears.
Yeah, I can't back Denver land points on the road. Whoever the dog was here was probably who I would end up taking. But remember, you don't have to bet this game. Don't be foolish and bet if you don't like it. There's no need to waste your money on those two shitty teams. All right, Baltimore at Cleveland, big showdown in the AFC North. It's the Browns -2.5, total 41. I saw some of the pros are betting Baltimore. I don't like that play. I think the Browns are the best team in that division now. Baltimore's got injuries. The quarterback play is too iffy. They're going to be in that backfield causing problems, especially if Ronnie Stanley doesn't play and Jackson doesn't play well in those situations. I like this game under a lot, though. But I think the Browns win a game by probably between 7 and 10.
Oh,
Chris,
wow.
What do you say?
Yeah, I say like a 20-14 game, 20-13, and it won't be a real high-scoring game. I'm still not – I got to see more from Deshaun Watson, but I do like the Browns to win this game and cover.
Yeah. Coach?
I'm with you guys. I think the Browns are good defensively. They're really, really good. Yep. Yeah, I like them.
All right. Browns and I like the under. Pittsburgh on the road at Houston, -3, total 42. C.J. Stroud's been the best quarterback.
I got a strong play here.
Okay, well, we'll go to you. But Stroud has been exceptional for the Texans.
This is the spot, Jarrett and I were talking today, this is a spot the Steelers lose these games typically.
They do.
They've won a couple in a row, not pretty ugly.
Yep.
Houston coming off a huge win against Jacksonville. Stroud's catching a lot of hype. I think Houston beats the Steelers straight up.
All right.
I do.
I love it.
I do. I think Houston beats them straight up.
All right.
Honest to God, I do. Everybody's, Steelers are starting to play good
They're
now.
starting to believe they're good now. And
The Steelers aren't any good. They're not good.
They're not.
Defensively, they're pretty good because they've got some good linemen.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, I think Houston wins the game.
Yep. I like it too. I think the Steelers are getting a little bit too much hype for how good they are on offense, and they've taken advantage.
That's
of
my
it.
best play, by the way.
All right, awesome. Coach's best bet: the Texans.
Please don't rat me out with Dede.
Oh, never.
Don't do that because
You'll do that yourself.
I would never do that. Never would I tell her. All right, the Rams looking to bounce back after a tough loss the other night on Monday Night Football. They are at the Colts. Colts now -1, total 46.5. I lean Rams here. Better coach team.
I do too, Matt.
Richardson's going to be back for the Colts. I think the Rams will cause him some problems.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Colts. What, they're 2-1, right?
Yes, somehow.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
No opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tampa at New Orleans, another division battle.
Could be a snooze fest.
Really good NFC South.
I got the game under.
I love the game under 40.5. Saints -3. Don't have an opinion there. Lean towards the dog if I can get to 3.5.
Is this going to be Jameis Winston versus Baker Mayfield?
Yes, it will be.
Oh, great.
That'll be great.
Yeah,
great.
I'm taking the under.
Great game. Too bad it's not on the national game of the week. Coach, any opinion there?
No.
Okay. Commanders, the Skins, we'll call them, on the road at the Eagles. Eagles -8, total 44.5. Commanders were embarrassing last week beyond imagination. I love them, so I will be fully honest. It was an awful, awful pick. Their defense played really good. I kept waiting for the offense to wake up. They held it to 16-0 the entire first three quarters. They could never get anything going. Sam Howell was abysmal, but I like the Redskins here to bounce back. They beat Philly here last year. They're catching 8. I think they give a really good performance here, and I think the Eagles win, but I think it's closer than 8 points. What do you guys think?
I am going to go the opposite of you, Matt.
Okay.
The Commanders, Sam Howell was sacked 9 times and had 4 interceptions last week. In the Eagles at home. So that's going to be my strong play. That's going to be my pick. I think the Eagles will beat them 35-17, something like that.
His quarterback he stole from us, Matt.
Yeah, but Jalen Hurts.
He didn't play that well, though.
No, their defensive line, my God, with Carter. I can't believe teams passed on him in that draft. What a bunch of
him
morons.
and that Jordan Davis.
Oh, I know.
They couldn't fit through that.
But, I mean, remember, like Davis, I know, the two of them together, they fill up that whole wing right there. But, really good, formidable defensive line. But I don't know if the Eagles are quite as good as they were last year. But they're still really good, and I think they'll win. All right, Bengals at Titans. Bengals -2.5 on the road here. They can't figure this one out. Total 41. Tennessee, really weird team. Bad secondary, good run defense. I like this game under a lot, but I don't really have a strong play. I don't like the Bengals, but I really don't like the Titans. And this is a game where I think Burrow could make some plays because the Titans' secondary is superb.
That's why I'm going to take the Bengals. Giving the points.
Coach?
I'm going to play your under, Matt. I like it under.
Okay. Under, I think, is the way to go. Raiders on the road at the Chargers. Actually, not too far down the road. It's Vegas at Los Angeles. The Chargers -5.5, total 47.5. This seems like a game to me that maybe the Chargers really get on track and just throttle the Raiders. I think the Raiders are clinging to life, like they're on the operating table and the paddles are out right now. On there. Yeah. I think they're really, really in need of a good performance here, but I don't see it happening. What do you think, Coach?
I like the Chargers a lot here.
Yes, me too.
I do, really do.
Okay, Chris.
Both teams defensively aren't very good. I'm going to take that game to go over.
Okay, that's probably a pretty strong play. New England at Dallas. Interesting game here. New England plays a really ugly game, beat the Jets for their first win of the season. Dallas plays a really ugly game and loses to the Cardinals with some botched decision-making by Mike McCarthy as usual. Dallas at home, -7, total 43. Man, I really think this could be a spot where Dallas should bury New England, but I don't trust them. The coaching advantage obviously goes to New England. this game may be close. I do like under a tad here. Any opinions, Coach?
I'm going to play. I'm going to play New England.
Okay.
I've been playing New England all year.
They could legitimately be 3-0.
Yes.
They haven't played very good, but they've been close enough in games. If they make a couple plays and don't give up a couple plays, they could be unbeaten.
Yes.
I really.
I like that play from Coach, and also I think the game's going to go under. New England struggles to score, and that Dallas defense is pretty damn good. But you know, you don't trust Mike McCarthy. I mean, how can you take a superior team out to Arizona and lose by 12?
Inexcusable loss. Right. Big Mike. Big Mike. What a guy. Arizona on the road at San Francisco. San Francisco minus 14, total 44. It ain't happening 2 weeks in a row.
No.
This is where the 49ers could go through the motions and win this game, and they probably will still cover. 14's a lot to lay in the NFL, but I'd lean Niners. Chris, opinions?
I think the Niners are going to roll. I mean, just not enough talent for Arizona. So,
Coach?
Yeah, Cardinals. No way again. No way.
Yep. All right, Sunday Night Football. Kansas City Chiefs. Taylor Swift probably will be in the house. It's in New York. They're minus 9.5. The total 42.5. I really like this. Now, my best bet I gave out is Jacksonville, but this was right there in the mix. I like this game under. I don't think the Jets will eclipse 10 here. With Zach Wilson. Chiefs defense has been on a mission this year. I like them under. I think it'll be very similar to last week's Bears and Chiefs game. So, Coach, what do you say?
I'm going to roll with you. Strong opinion like that. I'm going to stay with you.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I tend to agree. I mean, the Jets are an absolute mess. The defense is pissed at the offense. They're tired of hearing the coach support the quarterback. They're a disaster. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs shut them out.
I like my bet with your girl too, Matt. I at 9.5. I got the Jets. I got the Jets under.
Oh, boy, I think that's probably almost us.
She loved it over.
Yeah, boy. Yeah,
that's with who was
Joe Madden.
Oh, that's right, Joe Madden. Yeah. I got to text her a reminder.
Yes, we'll do that. She's probably probably not too happy about the Aaron Rodgers outcome.
No, that
worked against her bad. All right, Monday Night Football. Final thoughts: Seattle at the Giants. Giants minus 1.5, total 47. Probably a snooze fest. Probably under for me. But
I think Seattle will win the game.
I'll be tired of football by Monday night, so I'll probably be watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Same, or a show on TV. All right, best bets, guys. Mine was Jacksonville, followed closely by Chiefs and Jets under. Where are you going?
I had the Eagles.
Houston.
All right, Houston for Coach. We already know that. And Philly for Chris.
Yes.
All right. Okay, guys. Any closing thoughts before you head off to Bocce?
No, just ready for another great football weekend.
Yes. What's the weather going to be?
Oh,
you're looking nice
here?
This week? Yeah.
Here it's 70 and beautiful.
Okay.
Both days.
Good. Well, we probably do a little bit of hurting on our livers.
Oh, boy, yeah. It's going to be
that seems to be a common thing around this time of year.
Rough weekend.
Yes.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break here on Bettor's Last Stand. These guys are going to play bocce to close out their league championship. And I'll be back here in a moment with Sam to talk some racing and some other events coming up this week. It's Bettor's Last Stand. We'll be back after this.
Good luck, fellas.
All right, welcome back in. This is the conclusion of segment 2 here on Bettor's Last Stand. Going to have Sam joining me in just a second, but I had a couple minutes. Wanted to tidy up a few things that we didn't get to during the time talking about football with Coach and Chris. A couple other bad beats that were really... they were tough if you had these. Texas at Baylor last week, 50.5 is the total. If you had the over here, it was 38-6 midway through the third quarter. 0 points in the fourth quarter. Both teams had the ball inside the 5-yard line multiple times, could not score. Texas tried to kick a field goal. They hit the upright and missed. So the game finished 38-6. So that was a bad one. We already talked about the App State and Wyoming one, the blocked kick, run back, and a 2-point conversion for the cover for Wyoming. Western Illinois plus 18 at Southern Utah. Western Illinois trails 24-17 with 1:40 to go. So you're down 7. You're catching 18. Southern Utah scores a touchdown. They missed the PAT. They're up 30-17 with 40 seconds left. Pick 6. Southern Utah 37-17 final. Horrible loss there. And then in pro football, Bears and Chiefs under 48.5. Chiefs led 41-0. Late in the game, the Bears scored 10 points in the final 4 minutes to put that game over. Coach had that one on the under. So horrible beat there. These are some interesting statistics too. Geo Comply reports 1.1 million new player accounts were created in the USA during NFL Week 1. That's 40% increase. And one bettor at the Rivers bet $24,000 on no safety in the Bucs-Eagles game on Monday Night Football. Minus $2,500 was the price, and it would have paid him back $960. That's all on a $24,000 wager. Yeah, he can't be very happy about that. Stupid. Should never, ever do anything like that. And now the Miami Dolphins are the most bet team to win the Super Bowl at many sports books. And the same bettor at BetMGM bet $100,000 on the Dolphins at 13-1 to win the Super Bowl, and $60,000 on Tua to win the NFL MVP at 5-1. And those bets, if they both cash, would pay around $1.6 million. So lots of play on the Dolphins. And then finally, AFL finishes up this week, the grand final. It's the Collingwood Magpies against the Brisbane Lions at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It's late Saturday night, or actually late Friday night, 12:30 a.m. Saturday. It's on Fox, I think FS1. Magpies minus 4.5, the total 166.5. The Lions beat them both times this year, which is interesting. They're a dog, but they won both games, 124-100 and 116-84. I lean to the Lions here. I think they're really good. Their scoring has been superb. Their ruckman situation got sorted out, and they're dominating off the bounce in the middle of the ground. And I think that they're going to be live here. So it's hard to bet it over here in a championship game, and it tends to play lower scoring. Total's lower than it would be, but 166.5 is still a decent amount. So I'm leaning Lions in under, but I'll have all my official plays on the Twitter page, BLS_PRP, at the Pine Room Studios on all social media. All right, going to take a break here very quickly, and then we'll be back with Sam the Man, talking racing, talking some other stuff, football, baseball, anything you want. It's Bettor's Last Stand. We'll be right back.
Reminder, this show is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activities should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. All right, men, load the cannons and hold the line. You're listening to Bettor's Last Stand.
All right, welcome back in. Bettor's Last Stand. Matt here with you. Coach and Chris off to Bocce, and I got Sam, my man. He's in the house, back after a week off last week when we were up at the Crooked Dock, and he's ready to give us some winners today. He had the winners in both races last week, so that was a good thing. If you had Max Verstappen, which was really tough play, tough. It's a surprising pick there, but then he had William Byron as well. So a good start for Sam here in the playoffs. F1 was off for a week, and they're going to be actually off another week. But we're going to talk plenty of racing, NASCAR, going to Talladega this week as the playoffs are starting to really heat up now. The cut line, every little mistake is magnified intensely as we go through. But anyway, Sam, welcome back to the show. As always, how's everything going up in Upper St. Clair this fine day?
Things are good, Matt. I want to wish you a happy end of Buckstember. We're coming to the end of it. Soon to be Buckstober, though.
Right.
Don't forget that.
Yes, that's right around the corner. That's coming in the future.
Been coming.
I don't know. We'll see what they can do. They could play spoiler here for the Marlins and some other teams. If they win, they could put some people in. They could take some people out. So good stuff. They get the Phillies again tonight. Let's start with the race in Japan last week. Red Bull coming off a really awful performance the week before, and they bounced back in style. At least one of their drivers did. Sergio Perez was a catastrophe. But Max Verstappen back into the top spot on the podium. But the big story of the weekend had to be the McLaren guys running 2 and 3. Thoughts on the Japanese Grand Prix, Sam?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was actually a very good race. I didn't watch it. Obviously, 1 a.m. is a tough race time for us Americans.
Yes. Especially guys like us that get up early.
Oh, it's tough, man. Yeah. Honestly, because if you watch the race, Matt, you're not going to bed. You're just powering through.
Exactly.
Right. So, no, I thought it was great. You hit something I wanted to talk about, the McLarens. They were awesome,
Yeah,
Piastri, I'm glad he hung in there. I was a little nervous with the qualifying going so well. It's one of those things you're like, all right, man.
Yeah.
You got another chance to do this again, and he stood strong.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. I gotta be honest. I know early in the season, I don't know if you and I were as we were a little dubious of him, little some question marks. But no, he's risen to the occasion, and they've got their program rolling along pretty well right now. I don't know, maybe they could be the one who maybe could contend for a victory outside of Ferrari got theirs, but it's been Red Bull dominated, obviously. Maybe McLaren, if the Red Bulls have another off week, maybe they sneak in and win. What do you think?
It's possible. I mean, it's obvious that Max is the only car that has to go wrong to have another winner.
Sure.
That's obvious. And I think it could happen again. And I don't think that if it happened, it would be a big deal to the Red Bull team, to be honest. Max is that good. I think Sergio's the one that I think his time is done. I don't know if you've seen this little back and forth they've had this week that's going on. It
doesn't look good.
It's very interesting, and it doesn't strike me as something that Sergio Perez, just like thought of now.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it's been bottled up in there a little bit, and it's just kind of time to let it out.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think there's definitely some issues in that Red Bull team. For as strong as they are, I expect them to probably find another guy to go into that cockpit sooner than later. So keep our eyes open for how that develops. Let's see what other. Oh, Fernando Alonso, just so nothing spectacular. Lance Stroll again, just
terrible.
Dismal. He's got to be out of that car. I just
he
don't
does.
understand. It is God. There's so many better guys out there that can drive better than them, and it's not like the equipment's been bad. Aston Martin's held their own this year. They're a top six in a points finish team. They should be every week.
Yeah, it's just one of those awkward things that you just have to get fired by your father.
Right.
Nepotism,
right?
Right, and it's not, he's not getting fired from the Dollar Tree. He's getting fired from racing for.
It's like $1 billion operation, right?
Right. So cry with your $100 tissues, but he needs to go. I'm a big fan of the Liam Lawson P11. I think he's been strong the whole time, but you get weary because Nick DeVries was good when he had his little shots, and then they gave him a chance, and Nick DeVries currently is not employed right now.
Yeah, right. And your guy Alex Albon gets caught up in some a mess. The Williams guys have a rough week, but that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then there's Valtteri Bottas.
He needs to go back to Mercedes.
I mean, really he does, because there's no way that there's been this big of a drop-off in his actual ability.
Yeah,
I just can't see it.
It's absolutely impossible.
I kind of feel sorry for him. He's just being wasted away. I mean,
it's every week, and I thought the Alpines were going to be like, what he's doing, but he's taken that full board.
Right. Well, you got a nice call with the Alpines in the top 10, though. Both guys sneaking in there, 9 and 10, so that cashed.
Lucky.
Yeah. Right, but don't you think it would be interesting if you could put Bottas in Sergio Perez's car and see what he would do in there?
I think he's right behind Max.
Me too.
I mean, right there. It was him, Lewis, and Max every race, in the Ferraris, but he was always up there.
Always. He was right there. Top 3 podium every single time unless he had an issue. We'll see. I don't know. There's just, I guess the rods are so highly coveted for these good teams, and and I'm actually surprised there's not more turnover rate with the way that some of these guys have been so mediocre for so long. But we shall see. We got a week off, and then we got the Qatari Grand Prix on October the 8th. So we'll be talking about that one over there in the land of oil fortunes. Going to the stock car boys now. Obviously, Talladega is always a race that gets people excited, but first I want to get your thoughts on the race last week, the Echo Park Automotive 400 in Fort Worth. This race had a little bit of everything. It had some interesting things happening. You had some tire failures. You had some guys bumping each other. You had some guys taking air off each other, spinning them out, and some gamesmanship maybe. And then you had William Byron capitalizing off of all that chaos and finding his way into victory lane, only leading 6 laps. Observations from Texas.
Yeah, I loved it. These races coming down towards the end, they're great. You don't need a big crash for a race to be great.
Right.
Especially after these couple crashes, like that Blaney crash and, Priest. But either way, I thought it was a great race. I mean, Busch let me down. That sucked. But that's also racing. I mean, seeing Chastain up there, that made my eyes, get a little wide because it's,
right.
I think they got something up their sleeve. I really do. Trackhouse watch out for Trackhouse.
We talked about it. We mentioned it a couple of weeks ago about how it was like they were just kind of bored, and now Chastain just seems to perform better in these high intensity, stressful situations where he's either the focus of it or he's causing some kind of turmoil. And he just kind of, lulled his way into the playoffs, and now it's like he's raising his game up, which you would expect from guys because, let's be honest, that happens at all forms of athletics. Guys raise their game in the postseason, and Chastain is, and I agree with you. He's now a guy that you better be careful when he's on your back spoiler.
Yeah, and it made me almost want to second guess who I think's going to win it all, because in the beginning of this year, Chastain to me was like the way Denny's been since like 3/4 of the year. Denny's been up there, aggressive. He doesn't give a shit about what's going on. He wants to win.
Exactly.
And that was happening with Ross. And then, and then the incident happened. And then it was like, all right, he's in the playoffs, lay low. Now it's like, oh, okay, here we go. Here's that guy that punched Noah Gragson in the face.
Right. And then he's got his teammate running pretty well, too. Suarez has shown a little bit of a resurgence. He ran well again. So they're going to be formidable. We know that teams working together is always really important, and manufacturers working together are really important here at Talladega. So as these teams try to find guys that they can draft with and work with in this really high leverage situation here at the Yellowwood 500, who are some guys on your radar, or some teams even on your radar for this week at Talladega?
RFK is 100% on the radar. They're almost the biggest thing on the radar.
Agreed.
I'll just get it out right now. Keselowski's my pick to win.
Me too.
Yes,
I love it.
go.
Love it.
Let's go. There's no reason that the 6 shouldn't be in victory lane. There's no reason.
And if he's not in victory lane, I bet his teammate will be. That's the thing.
Yep.
It basically has come down to that: who can get in front at the last pit stop, and the other guy pushes him. And with Brad being part owner, I'm sure he's kind of all right with any of it working out that way. I thought those two are my top. They're right now, to me, they're the most dangerous team in here. I think the Trackhouse guys could be a little bit dangerous, but I like the plate racing from these guys. The super speedway is a little better from RFK. But I thought Ryan Blaney's interesting. A little bit of bad luck last week, but I thought he ran a little better. And then I give this guy out every single time we have a restrictor plate super speedway race. Eric Almirola, again, you're getting a huge value on him. He's won here before. He's always in contention at these races. He's around 35-1, so he's another guy that I look for to have a really strong performance. How about you? What other than Keselowski and Buescher are you interested in?
I had Keselowski, Buescher, Chastain, and Blaney.
Nice.
And Blaney was the last one I added, but I was looking at stats from the race earlier this year, and I was looking at a driver average out of points, and Ryan Blaney had the highest driver average at this track out of everybody.
Yes.
And it's just like what it's saying is he is consistent at Talladega. If he's not wrecked and things go wrong, but it just makes me think Blaney, he can do it, man.
Yeah, he's the only guy in the last 2 races at Talladega. I looked at some similar stuff to you. So this year's spring race and last year's fall race, which would be this one, he's the only guy to have over 100 driver rating in both of those races.
Yes, so, that is exactly what I saw.
Yeah, he's been really good here. He's won here. I think he runs up front the entire night. But yeah, like you mentioned earlier, those RFK guys are going to be tough. Chastain is going to be dangerous. I think this has the makings of an exceptional race. Chase Elliott's had some success here. Denny Hamlin's not going anywhere.
Eric Jones
has been good. He actually had a good car last week. Really good car.
Yes, he did.
And I had him, and that was tough that he got caught up in that wreck. And then, folks, we always try to give out some long shot plays. At a place like Talladega, these can actually come true. I thought there were some guys that were on the radar for me, even as guys far back in the field as Ty Dillon. Top 10.
Yes, I have that.
He can run here. It evens it up. And I tell you, I had him at Daytona and he almost died. And I think Ryan Preece is a factor. He's been really strong here. And even Todd Gilliland and Justin Haley at giant numbers. These guys are all, and you could even look down to guys like McDowell, Stenhouse. They've had success, obviously, the big tracks. And any other long shot guy that you maybe throw a couple bucks on?
Take a look at Briscoe.
Take a look
at Briscoe
last week.
Yes, he did. I mean, my underdogs are. I just have Jones, Briscoe, McDowell, and Dillon. Those are the 4 names I wrote down there. McDowell is the one that stands out to me the most because
right.
I don't know when he ran well this year and he won. I mean, he was running hard.
He was. He had a really good stretch of races there right as you headed into the playoffs to kind of secure a spot in there. Austin Cindric's usually a pretty good long racer, but he has not raced well at Talladega. Strangely, he's one of the few guys, Sam. A lot of times you'll see guys who run well at Daytona, they'll run well at Talladega. He has not been that way. He's been very good at Daytona and very poor at Talladega. What do you attribute that to, if anything?
I'm not sure. I think he's going to be around next year, but he's been quiet and he's almost not like Blaney's better, but he gets a win and then it's just silent, just into the mist.
I agree. I think next year's a huge season for Austin Cindric. He's not been very good this year, and he's in a really good car and a great team. He's got a lot of pressure on him with his father having such a prominent role in the team. I don't think he's Lance Stroll caliber bad. No. But he's a much better road racer than he's shown too, which is strange. Road racing in the big tracks is where he's got to be up consistently in the top 10 and top 5s, and he hasn't done that this year. And I think next year, Penske's not going to continue to give him chance. He may get an extra year more than most, but they're not going to be very patient. He's got to pick it up.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up road racing. Do you find it odd, and I find it exciting, that next week is the Roval?
Yeah. How about
it's just like, you get all these regular, just hardcore tracks, and it's just like, oh, yeah, the Roval. We're going to put the Roval right in there.
Put the Roval in and make the Roval.
That could fuck a lot of stuff up.
Oh, it will. It definitely will, because you have some guys who are not strong at that Roval, and you have other guys who are really, really good at it. And then you know somebody's going to blow one of those turns like they always do and go through the wrong area, and then they'll be, it'll work against them. But, it's the Roval is just a track that's like, I like it. I think it's fascinating, and it is. It's almost like it's like an obstacle course for another playoff cut race. I'm
crazy.
Sure that some of the guys were like, "Oh fuck, they're really the Roval in the last
playoffs.
One." It's already tough enough.
Allmendinger might win that.
Yes, it's tough enough. You got Talladega right up against it, and you had Daytona right in before the playoffs started. So
it's weird. Yeah. It's weird,
but it does make it exciting. That's for sure. And NASCAR, they should be commended. For doing these exotic things with the schedule. It's made it a lot more interesting. And we got the good news a week or so ago about Bristol going away from the dirt, so that's a good thing.
Thank you. And they're coming back to the Coliseum for the Clash. Isn't that exciting? Can't even get all the cars on the track.
Yeah, that again, I liked it the first time, and now it's like, but it makes sense. Bring the market out there. I get it. It's an exhibition race, so we'll have some fun with it. So it could be worse, I suppose. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're both on Keselowski. This can't be good.
No, it's terrible.
Let's hope
it's
for the
terrible.
best. The only thing that could be worse is if Chris picks him too. So, all right, let's circle back a little bit. Anything catch your eye in the world of college football this weekend?
College football. The only thing I had written down was Florida. Money line plus 105. I think they play Kentucky, I believe.
Yes, sir. They're at Kentucky. All right. So you're going to be on the Gators.
Yeah, something about Kentucky. I feel like they think they're like a SEC program, but they're just like a regular SEC program.
Every once in a while they get humbled pretty quickly. No, I'm with you. They're kind of like on the cusp, but could be trouble for them this week. All right, pro football. Steelers 2-1, rescuing another victory from the jaws of defeat, I guess. They go to Houston this week. Tricky game. Houston's been a little better than people thought so far. But anything on the card stand out to you? Any touchdown guys in the mix? What do you think?
Well, here's what I saw, because some of these props aren't up yet, which is
It's a little early.
The issue. So, but one I saw, Ryan Tannehill. Touchdown passes. It was a half a point. It was plus 185. If Ryan Tannehill can't throw one fucking touchdown, Matt, I mean, one touchdown. He's a pro quarterback.
I know. And a highly paid pro quarterback too.
That's what I mean. You've got a couple of bucks, throw it on. If Cordarrelle Patterson plays, I don't know if he's playing. I don't even know if he was on the plane over to London. He is a plus 650 to score.
Yeah, I don't know why the Falcons haven't opened him up a little bit. I think they need to utilize him because he can play a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. And for the game tomorrow,
Okay.
I know it doesn't come out late, but
No,
it's
that's all
for you and I. Romeo
Yes.
Dobbs, I think he can score. It's a plus 240.
Little Romeo. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that too. All right, good stuff. All right, and then finally, baseball. We're down to the very end here. Mariners, Astros slugging it out. Blue Jays hanging on. They got to face Garrett Cole tonight. Rangers look like they may be safe for the moment.
Yeah.
And then in the National League, the Reds, big win last night for them. They come
Huge.
back a couple times against Cleveland and win. And the Diamondbacks have held on and won again today, so they're pretty safe, I think, to be in.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Give me the lowdown. Let's start in the American League. Who makes it in out of the Blue Jays, Astros, and Mariners? Those two of the three teams. Who's the odd team out? I guess.
I think the Astros are going to be the odd team out.
They may well be.
And
I'm with you.
I don't know. My gut's saying the Mariners. I've seen the Mariners just be way too streaky. I mean, the Astros are really good, but
right.
Fuck. I want it to be the Mariners. I think I want to see Julio in the playoffs. I want to see that whole team in the playoffs. I've seen the Astros enough. I'm sick of them.
A few weeks ago, I thought the Astros they'll just be. They've been so stable all year. They've not had a whole lot of hiccups, ups and downs. They've been just level. So I thought that was an advantage. Then they go and lose 5 of 6 to Kansas City, and you're like, oh boy, like maybe they've played so much baseball the last few years. Maybe they're just done. And now I'm leaning your way. I think Seattle's dangerous. I think Seattle having 4 games at home to end the season. Against I believe they play the Rangers. I mean, these are monster games, and I like Seattle to make it in. I wouldn't even give up on them to win the division. I think that's very possible. That place is going to be electric. There's going to be playoff games up there this weekend. So I'm with you. I think Seattle gets in, and I mean, depending on if Texas can tread enough water to where they can gap the Astros, I think they're probably safe. But the Blue Jays still worry me a little bit too. They've never taken that extra step up for me.
Never.
This
This
year.
is where they always are. You're right.
And I kept thinking they were going to do it, and they never did. They never got even close to being on the level of Tampa or the Orioles, obviously, in that division. And that worries me. And if they lose the Cole tonight with the Yankees, they're only a game up on these teams, and they could find themselves out of it before the weekend's over. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of confidence, but I'm with you. I think the Mariners, out of those teams in the American League, I feel the best about currently.
Yeah, I agree.
Going over to the National League, as I said, Diamondbacks now are probably going to be 2 games up. Cubs, what a bad loss last night to the Braves. Just
terrible.
Blowing it. Just awful. Waste a good performance out of a great pitcher. The D-backs now have a 2-game lead over the Cubs, 2.5 over the Marlins, 2.5 over the Reds. I don't know. D-backs look safely in. Phillies clinched last night. Who gets the last spot? Cubs, Marlins, or Reds?
God.
And the Pirates could play spoiler here for the Marlins badly. And I know Jarrett's got mixed feelings. Chris does too. They don't want the Pirates to lose, but they want the Marlins to get in. What do you think?
I know. It's tough here because that's fan appreciation week. I keep seeing the ads for it.
Yeah.
And what I was thinking about doing, Matt, is taking all my fucking receipts down for all the shit I bought and see if they can refund me. That's fan appreciation.
Show the stubs of those games that you've been to this year so far too.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I need some money back.
Yeah.
God. But
refund it.
Yeah.
Or if they're going to keep your money, invest in a real fucking first baseman next year.
Please don't trade the 2 we have.
I'm sure you would rather have that than get the money back.
But put Jared Triolo at first base. I don't care.
All right.
I don't care. But I think, Matt, the Cubs can get in. But I think if they don't, it's because the Reds have better pitching.
Right. Well, I think the Cubs is going to come down to Milwaukee doesn't need these games now. Milwaukee just locked their spot in.
Right.
They're not going anywhere. Their spot is secured. They play the Cubs this weekend, so maybe they can take advantage. And I think I want to say the Reds finished with the Cardinals, I believe. So I mean, I don't know what the Cardinals are going to have if they even give a shit. But man, the Cardinals they're a prideful organization, so they may play hard to try to knock the Reds out, but. I don't know. This is a very exciting time of year, and by the time we talk next week, we're going to be probably having playoff games getting ready to start right now, wild card games or whatever. So
I can't wait.
Which is awesome. It's a great time of year. Get done work and have baseball right on TV as you come home.
And hockey will be on soon too,
hockey.
man.
We're going to be talking about that, too. We got about 2 weeks from last night. The Penguins open up. Been hearing some good stuff out of them. Gensel's ahead of schedule to return, so that's good.
Perfect.
But yeah, I haven't got to see much of them in the preseason, so I'm looking forward to watching them, especially the power play. Hopefully it's better, and hopefully Jeff Carter's out of the lineup, but I don't think he will be.
No, I think 77. We'll see him on the ice, man.
Yeah.
I unfortunately do.
Yeah, sadly so. But anyway, all right, Sam. Any closing thoughts? Anything else on your mind as we head into another huge sports weekend? Oh wait, one more thing.
Oh yeah,
the
go ahead.
NBA trade.
Oh my
Lillard.
God!
What quick thoughts on that one? Damian Lillard to the Bucks.
He's not a super team guy, I thought.
Yeah, I know. And how about
they ended a trade to the Heat, which was such a childish thing. He went about it childish, like, oh, I'll only play for the Heat. Well, that's not how this works, buddy.
Correct.
You know what? I'm not going to go to my boss and say, you know what, I'm going to go work at the bank.
Right. Yeah.
No, you're not. That's just not how this works. And if they don't win the ring, it's worthless. It's like if Chris Paul doesn't get the ring, it's worth nothing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's shaking up the odds a little bit. Milwaukee, I'm sure, will take a lot of money now, and they'll be good, no question. But is he tough enough to stop anybody in the playoff? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it won't matter because you got Giannis too. But I think the Bucks will be strong in the East, no question. But I don't know. I feel like the Suns got a little bit of depth out of the trade. They got rid of Ayton, who's a pain in their ass. So
yeah,
they may have been the team that benefited the most from it. But we shall see. I don't know. Portland's probably going nowhere fast.
Yeah. They got Scoot.
Yeah,
that's good.
Okay, good.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll be talking about that stuff soon enough as well, as NBA will be right around the corner. I'm sure James Harden's probably hitting the treadmill right now as we speak.
I would think so.
Getting himself in shape. All right.
Leader. He's a leader.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a real leader. True leader. Inspiration. What a winner he is. Yep. Good stuff, Sam. As always, anything on your mind? Any last thoughts before we head off into the sunset here on BLS?
Just go Bucks and get ready. We're heading into the best baseball, you can watch, period.
Yes.
It's the best time, best atmosphere, best plays. The weirdest shit happens in this time in baseball. So
well said.
Watch it as much as you can.
Can't wait for it. All right, Sammy, we'll see you next week. Thanks for everything, and have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you, Matt, later.
All right. That's our man Sam checking in. Great analysis on racing of all kinds, baseball, football, basketball, you name it. He does it. We appreciate his analysis. Appreciate all the guests on Bettor's Last Stand. Had a great time up at Crooked Dock last week. If you haven't checked out the show, check it out. Lester Bradley, the owner, joined us, talked a little bit about sports, talked about his restaurant. We had a really nice time up there. Coach and Chris off to play bocce. Be sure and check us out on the Football Friday show, noon to 3 from Gumby's in Elm Grove again this week. Flip it on your radio dial right now. But hopefully we found you some winners this week. It's another action-packed weekend of college, high school, and pro football. And you got baseball. Basically, playoff games are upon us as we head into the final 5 days of the season. That's going to do it here for us. Bettor's Last Stand here in the Pine Room Studios. We will see you next week. Best of luck, and thanks to everybody who's supported us. Gumby's, Jill's Gentlemen's Club, IC Cab, all of our wonderful sponsors, and, of course, the Watchdog. We will see you next week on BLS. Until then, good luck with your bets and safe travels.